Welcome to the next session of this course, Systemverilog Simulation Regions. And throughout all previous sessions, you have learned about how any program or module or interface items in Systemverilog simulation will be evaluated. So you know there are dedicated regions and dedicated functionalities for every region. So you have seen in detail how every item in a module or in a program is being executed throughout all the previous lectures. Now the question is, what about classes and functional coverages? So while going through these items, you had also seen about assertions. So you have seen about assertion execution will happen in concurrent. The concurrent assertion execution will happen in observed region. So the remaining items are classes and functional coverage. And in this session, you are going to see where these items will get evaluated in terms of simulation region. So the first question, in which region the class items will be executed? So let me ask you a question back. So how do you use a class in the DB? So assume that you are writing a large number of classes to model different interfaces, driver, monitor, and to encapsulate everything into a single class. And finally, you are going to instantiate all these classes in a module. Or if you are creating objects of class in some other top hierarchy, again, you need to instantiate the top level class in a module, and therefore all the functions and tasks in the class are falling under the module scope, and what all rules are applicable for module will be applicable for those classes which are instantiating within a module. So by default they will be executed in the active region set, and if you are instantiating a class within the program block, then by default all these class items will be evaluated in the region set. So note that in the class you have only two type of procedural blocks, which are functions and tasks. So the class functions and the class task will be executed in the active region set if they are instantiated in the module, and in the same way if the class is instantiated in a class object is created and used in a program block, then their task and function will be evaluated in the region set. And if there is functional coverage written in the class, we will see in the next slide. And let me ask you one more question here. Do we really need to use program block in class-based test bench? Say, for example, your test bench is a UVM-based test bench, or even if it is not UVM-based, it is a class-based test bench. So in none of the large test benches used in the industry, I have never seen any program blocks. And why we don't need program blocks to synchronize our events in the simulation? So the answer is, if you code your program, if you code your test bench very correctly, and if you use clocking blocks, you will get a very predictable output and input stimulus behavior. So program blocks are not necessary to use in the test bench, and the coding guideline will be to use clocking blocks, and for sampling signals which are coming into the TBs or which are input to the TB, use a clocking block with an input skew as #1 step. So for example, if you wanted to monitor something, if you're writing a monitor class, so while in the monitor class you need to use a clocking block. So that will be written often in the interface class, in the interface, and while you write an interface, you use a clocking block, then input skew of #1 step, and always sample the signal with respect to that clocking block in any of the classes or any of the functional code in the test bench. So by sampling all the signals with #1 step in a clocking block, you will be always sampling them in a pre-point region. And in the same way, if you wanted to drive something into the DUT, so if there is some output from the test bench to the DUT, so say for example, if there is a driver class, then always use a clocking block with an output skew of #0. So as you have already seen, when you're driving signals in the clocking block with output skew as #0, those will be updated in the re-NBA region. So thus you will be getting a very predictable output behavior. And just by using both of these combinations for input and output, or input and output to the test bench, you'll be able to achieve predictable behavior in the simulation. And also remember, don't use any of other fancy coding stuff like any other hash delays in any of your program. Always use a clocking block without any other delays. So the input skew need to be hash one step and output skew need to be hard zero, and this is true for most of the scenarios in verification. And finally, we will look at the functional coverage. So you can write the functional coverage items, the cover groups, either in a module or in a class. So first we look at the module items. So if you're writing a functional coverage item in a module without any clocking block or without anything, just a plain functional coverage item with plain functional cover points, then those will be sampled like any other module item. So those will be sampled in the active region. But if you're using a clocking block along with the functional coverage items, say for example, if you are sampling the functional coverage like cb dot variable, then based on the input skew, the sampling will be happening either in the pre-point region or in an observed region. So there is a slight difference in the behavior of clocking block in case of sampling with sampling for functional coverage. So if the clocking block input skew is specifying hash one step, so as always it will be sampled in the pre-point region. But if the input skew is given as just hash zero, note that this is input skew. So if the input skew is hash zero, then that signals will be sampled in the observed region. So this is a slight different behavior to all those behavior that we were explaining throughout this course. So if at all you wanted to specify, you wanted to sample a functional coverage item using clocking blocks, you need to give an input skew of hash zero. So this remember this scenario, the scenarios where you wanted to use this hash zero input skews will be very limited. But remember that if you are using clocking blocks in functional coverage, then hash one step will be sampled in the pre-point region and hash zero input skew will be sampled in the observed region. And one more notable point about cover points is the strobe function. So there is an option in cover group specification where you can specify that it need to be strobed. So that is specified by using type underscore option dot strobe is equal to 1. So while writing cover group, if you are specifying this option as 1, by default this option is 0, but if you're explicitly specifying this option as 1, then all sampling for this cover point will be happening at the end of this time slot, which is in the postponed region. So this is the behavior of functional coverage that is written in a module. So by default those will be sampled in the active region. If they are using clocking blocks, they will be appropriately sampled in these two regions. And if in the cover group specification, if you're using $strobe, the strobe function, strobe option is set to 1, then they will be sampled in the postponed region. And if they are written in a class, and then the same set of rules that is applicable for all the class items are applicable here as well, based on whether they are called from a module or a program block. So by default, if you are calling from a module, they will be sampled in the active region if there is no explicit cloaking block or something is used in the class. And finally, I would like to tell about a UVM TB. And typically in UVM based test bench, you will be writing cover groups within the agents or in the environments. And let's see where those items will be getting sampled. So you know that you will be sampling items in the interface in a UVM monitor, and those will be converted into transactions. And while sampling them, you need to use a clocking block with appropriate input hash one step delay. So those will be sampled with the values of the pre-point region, and those transactions will be sent to the coverage items again using another functions. Therefore, while sampling in the coverage items, the cover groups in the coverage class, the sampling will be happening with the values of the pre-point region. So this is the case of a UVM based test bench where you write your coverage items in class.